Okay, guys, who do you think, is there someone, anyone here, who thinks that someone on their table has got the best idea? We want 3 people. Yeah.
Okay, so Ashwin Kamlani from Regatta Travel Solutions. You guys all know me from the popular SmackDown. So we're, as I said during our session, we're constantly looking at what the hotel industry is doing and then applying that to the DMO space. So we partnered with this company called Flip2. Has anybody here heard of Flip2? Anyone? Okay, cool. So what Flip2 does for hotels and hotel chains is when someone books the hotel, then the person who booked can share that after they book it on all of their social media channels, and then all of their friends can click on that and then get access to an exclusive deal that nobody else has access to. So we took that and applied that to the DMO space, and in Barbados, we launched this deal with Flip2 so that anyone who booked on the DMO site could then share with their friends that they booked on the DMO site, and then all of their friends could click on that and get 10% off any hotel in Barbados. So.
Has that inspired anyone else?
I don't really know how this is going to work because we haven't done it yet, but we traditionally bring in journalists on 4 major media tours every year. And being from Louisiana, Mardi Gras is always one of our media tours. And this year we're going to do kind of a virtual media tour where we don't actually pay for the journalists to come to our destination. Instead, we're going to kind of do it ourselves and take pictures and post them on our social media, do videos. We'll let the journalists know in advance that we're going to be doing this so they can kind of virtually attend the media tour. And they won't have to bring their cameras, they won't have to bring their video. It'll all be there for them. They can just come get it and then use it to promote our destination.
Cool, thank you. Is anyone else inspired?
Thanks. I'm from Tourism Richmond from Canada, and we launched a campaign this year called 365 Days of Dining, which included an international job search for a food blogger. We had over 1,500 applicants from all over the world. We eventually did a narrowed down to 12 finalists and had a vote online. We awarded the food blogger position to somebody who has been blogging every day she goes to a different restaurant and blogs about it for 365 days. And the reason we're doing this is we're really trying to promote our restaurants. We have over 800 restaurants for a small city. 400 of them are Asian. And we're known as the best Chinese food outside of China. So we've been getting quite a good following and a lot of press, so we've been doing pretty well. And we had no budget, so we did it all through social.
Cool, give a big round of applause to all 3 of those people.
Hey, I'm Melissa Gogol with the Greater Phoenix Convention and Visitors Bureau. This is a really easy idea to steal, so I hope people are able to take advantage of it. What I'm going to briefly talk to you about is how we use Twitter we work with our meeting planners that are having large citywide groups in our downtown area so that we can reach their attendees and promote our businesses downtown. So I've given you some examples here of tweets that we've put out. So we use the convention's hashtag. So we plan in advance with the meeting planner to find out what their hashtag is going to be. And then my online marketing manager kind of schedules that within her calendar. And the first tweet that you see here is an example of how we reach out to them prior to their visit here. So she will use the hashtag, tell them that if they're coming to Phoenix for that conference, they can download our free travel guide to help plan their trip. The next example is a situation where she welcomed them. So she knows the date that the attendees are going to be arriving, welcomes them to Phoenix, asks them to tweet us if they need any help while they're there. You can see that somebody associated with that convention said, great idea, great hospitality, so she retweeted what we had done. The third one down, we have one of our downtown hotels gets the Twitter thing with us, and so they've been very helpful. They'll jump in on the conversation when people are asking what to do. This is actually a situation where there was a whole conversation involved in this particular tweet, but somebody asked about good restaurants to eat that were close to downtown, and this hotel actually has a great restaurant on property, but they recommended a really fabulous well-known Mexican restaurant that we have in Phoenix, and so this person tweeted back that said, great, they were putting a group together to actually go to that restaurant. We had another situation where we had, tweeted out using the hashtag. Somebody replied directly back to us that they only had 2 nights. They wanted to know what was walkable from their hotel, good wine list, higher end restaurants. So we tweeted back and started a conversation with that person, giving them recommendations about what they could do. And then finally, this is actually a group that I believe is coming in this weekend to Phoenix. They were proactive in their approach and actually told their attendees to follow us for things to do in and around Phoenix while they were there. This particular group, this Informs group, actually, they are pretty social media savvy, I gather. They actually approached us and asked my online marketing manager to look at their Pinterest page. It's the first time I've seen a meetings group create a Pinterest page. So she asked us to look at that and give her suggestions. So we were able to open up the dialogue with her and talk about our blog and our own Pinterest page. So the screenshot down there is actually, she did go to our Pinterest page and she repinned things. She looked at our blog and was able to tailor some activities that were going to be happening while the attendees were in town, give them information about that. So this was the first time we had kind of seen this advance beyond Twitter now into giving us the opportunity to talk about some of our other social media avenues that we have. That's it. It's easy. Just find out what their hashtags are. Believe it or not, some meeting planners have been hesitant to do it, and our theory is we don't really have to ask their permission. It's easy to find those hashtags, but we do like to have them know that we're doing it, and I think it's catching on. We've probably been doing it for around a year now, and so it seems like it's catching on, and I really have seen real conversation using those hashtags with people that are coming to the conferences.
Melissa, has it been your experience that meeting planners know enough about this sort of thing to really appreciate what you're doing for them?
I think a lot of them are more savvy than we give them credit for. To be honest, there was more education involved with our services department than there are with the meeting planners. So it did take some sitting down with our services team because those individuals don't happen to be very social media savvy, even in their own personal life, so they didn't really understand Twitter. So there was some education there involved on our part, but I think the meeting planners tend to get it. We've used a hashtag here at this conference. Can you imagine if somebody locally had been using that hashtag to give us recommendations about a happy hour to go to or a restaurant or a show that was in town or something like that. So really, for us, it was internal education. I do think meeting planners just realize that it's part of the culture now. Some are more savvy than others.
So what do you think, that you would only use this for bigger conventions and meetings, or also some small ones and weddings, or
not? For us, the reason we do it this way right now is because we have a definite perception problem with our downtown. It's changed a lot in the last few years, but people still don't consider it a very urban environment. So that's why we focus on that, and those are really the groups that our services department really gives a lot of attention to. If we were to open it up to all of the groups that come to our resorts and things like that, that could be a little overwhelming to keep up with that. But I would say if you're a smaller destination, it definitely doesn't have to be a large group like this at all.
Okay, so this is something brand new. This is using the API from Foursquare on your website for your destination site. And so far, we have launched this, and we have Crystal Bridges in Bentonville, Arkansas, which is our first to use it. And this is for the state of Arkansas's website, and so what I'm going to show you is actually a video that we've now put on the extranet that explains how this works, using, teaching people why they need to be on Foursquare so that we can get industry participation. So this is kind of a layered idea. One, how to use video in your extranet to try to educate your partners in the area, and two, just a cool way that you can use an API out of Foursquare to create a cool mobile experience.
Foursquare is one of the most popular social smartphone apps on the market. The 20 million registered Foursquare users have used the geolocation app to check in over 2 billion times to local restaurants, retail stores, hotels, attractions, and so much more. And with every check-in, people are showing off to their friends all the amazing places they're visiting, encouraging even more travel. The Save to Foursquare button is a unique opportunity created by Foursquare to enable visitors to arkansas.com to save attractions and destinations they discover to their Foursquare accounts. What does this do for your business? Let's look at this example. When a visitor is planning her trip through arkansas.com and discovers your attraction or destination, she can easily click the Save to Foursquare button located on your detailed partner listings page. By clicking this button, she is connected to her Foursquare account and the location is stored. Later, when she is out touring the great cities of Arkansas and she comes nearby your destination, Foursquare's unique geo-targeting radar tool will buzz her phone and remind her to be sure she stops by. With the Save to Foursquare button, your visitors will never forget to stop by and check out your business. Adding the Save to Foursquare button to your listing on arkansas.com is as simple as checking the box on your Arkansas dashboard. Learn more about Foursquare by visiting foursquare.com.
So we're basically using this to try to get a lot of people in Arkansas to start playing on Foursquare, start using Foursquare. We think it's a great tool, and it's just a way for us to go ahead and give them a boost and give all of the partners a boost so that they can integrate that with their listings on arkansas.com. Are there any questions?
Yeah, so how did you make this work and how much does this cost?
Okay, this is really inexpensive. And if you go to aristotle.net/etourism, you'll find more information about some of the things that we're doing, products like this. And it's under $1,000, to give you an idea, to actually have somebody go ahead and set it up. And there are a couple of things that you'll run into in terms of integrating it. But yeah, and even getting some educational pieces available to you to use for the people in the destination is something we can do, or you can do. So I know, how many of you have in-house video services? I talked to several people who did. You have people in-house doing videos, so yeah. So it would be the kind of thing that if you're integrated Indianapolis, doing a lot of videos, so it's a great way to just educate the people in your community.
Cool, thank you.
I just want you to know this is going to be a much more relaxed session, so I'm going to take my jacket off. Just want you to know we're getting towards the end here, so we can be less professional. So as most of you know, I write a small blog, and Jake asked me to pick out some of the things that I've seen recently that I thought was cool that some people would steal. So I didn't necessarily make these. I can't really tell you a ton about them, except that I thought they were interesting, and maybe it could spur on some thought for you. So the first one we've seen here, the Twitter execution from Phoenix. As most of you know, Oregon is doing another one with the AskOR hashtag. Where's my Oregon girls at? Did they already leave? Oh, that's a bummer. Fantastic campaign. They're getting a lot of traction with that, basically turning Twitter into a virtual call center for the state of Oregon. The second one, we've talked a lot about Pinterest today. We've talked a little bit about Instagram today as well. I love the idea of Instagram. I love the idea of Pinterest, but God, is it a pain in the ass creating photos. I love what Amsterdam has done. This is a famous example. There's literally hundreds of thousands of photos on Flickr of this damn sign, the I Am Amsterdam sign. I was in Amsterdam recently speaking at a conference. I went there. Totally crowded. They actually have one of these on a truck that they drive around to various places in the city. This one stays on the museum plane, which is where the museums are at in the city. But they also have a mobile one that they take around and surprise people with. Hundreds of photos. So think about it from the standpoint of maybe we don't necessarily have to create the Pinterest content. Maybe we could just build a really big sign that people will take pictures in front of, and then they will populate Pinterest for us. Novel and crazy, I know, but it seems to be working. Or, if you have been to Disneyland, you recognize the Kodak picture spot. Disneyland has these all over the place, conveniently sponsored by Kodak. Hundreds of thousands of photos of people in front of these picture spots. Why not have these in front of your city? We were talking to Chuck yesterday. Chuck here is from Boston, revolutionary Boston. You're home to the most photographed building in Boston, and you need to have one of these signs in front of your building. Your Pinterest campaign and Instagram campaigns are complete with this. So, talk a little bit about food trucks here real quick. We had the food truck reception on Wednesday night. I was in Missouri, talking in Springfield, Missouri, and the CEO of the Springfield CVB came up to me and said he had a problem. And he said his problem was that he had 3 physical visitor centers. He owned 3 buildings that had a visitor center in them. And he's like, do you think visitor centers are relevant anymore? And I was like, oh, you own 3 of them, I can't say no. Maybe turn them into a Blockbuster Video. They seem to be doing well. And I said, you know, I said it is a challenge, because he was confused about what do we do with mobile, and everyone's going mobile, and everyone's got an iPad and a mobile phone, and I've got these physical visitor centers that no one is coming into anymore. And I said, well, why don't you just make the visitor center mobile? And lo and behold, people have already done this. The city of Arlington, outside of Washington, D.C., does not get enough credit, but they should for this campaign. Ignore the public television intro here. It's hilarious. Oh no, it's really hilarious.
We turn our attention to a funny-looking vehicle that's been seen around the county lately.
I told you
it's called the Mobile Tourism Vehicle, and it's the latest innovation from Arlington's economic development. So let's go to Emily Cassell in Crystal City to tell us all about it.
Hi, I'm Emily Cassell of the Arlington Convention and Visitors Service, part of Arlington Economic Development. Today I'd like to introduce you to Arlington's latest effort to bring tourism into the 21st century.
Ignore the music, but just soak in the innovation here. So they literally drive this truck around.
Mobile Visitor Center. And this is Courtney Kakation, our Visitor Services Counselor. Hello. Mobile is really the key word here. In old visitor centers,
God bless the gals in Arlington. I love them a lot, but that video is crazy. But fantastic, fantastic. They do not have a physical visitor center anymore. They drive this truck around. They have a schedule. They tell people on Twitter where it is going to be at. They drive it all up and down. They take it to conventions. They park it outside the convention center. They take it to the airport. They take it where they need it to be. Yes, this is a technology conference. Yes, we're talking about visitor centers, but this is relevant. Technology has changed the way your visitor center functions, and you need to respond, and this is a great response. Cost them a fraction. I hooked up the CEO from Springfield with these gals. He was shocked how cheap they made this. He could have bought like 6 of them for what he's paying for physical visitor centers. Are we almost done here? Am I almost out of time? There we go. One more. Only because the CTC is in the room. Where's Kate at the CTC? There's my girl. This is part of the CTC's annual report. This is how the Canadian Tourism Commission reports numbers to their constituents, through an infographic. Absolutely brilliant. I lowered my voice. That's going to be bleeped on the tape. They issued their annual report. How often do you do these? Monthly now, right? Almost monthly? Absolutely awesome. For people who are out there saying, I don't know how to explain social media and explain what we do and explain our success to key stakeholders and my CEO who has ADD, this is the way you do it. You find someone to make you a beautiful, keyword being beautiful infographic. Do not make a shitty one. And you send it out to people. Absolutely gorgeous. And my best steal this idea. And I'm sorry, Kate, that people are going to steal this from me. But full credit to the CTC. So.